Hello, welcome to the MBB Sports Talk. Luke Scott to my computer-wise right, but to people they're right, but I'm on the other side calling you, talking right now. Of course, you know the voices, you know who we are. Got some new gear on my side of things. Can I get a? I don't know if Luke can hear it because he's having trouble hearing it on his end, but ooh man, I am gonna have fun with this sport. I tell you what, Luke. I know you don't like it, but I know I'm gonna enjoy having this very expensive piece of equipment. I had to get this equipment. I had to do it for work because I'm getting back into commentating. So I had to buy this soundboard, but man, it is probably gonna be the best investment I'll ever have in my life. This is awesome.
Bigger and better than the wedding ring, Colin?
Uh, we're not there yet, Luke. We're not there yet.
Oh, okay,
We're not
okay.
there yet.
Well,
And
the soundboard is very fun. It's good. It takes you back to the KSHU days there at the Cat, having the hotkeys, and you could just boom. There's something you could just listen to, or anything fun like the sad trombone. I thought you were gonna play it there, but
No,
okay.
I
Well,
did play it. It's just I don't know if I just wonder why it's not going over your over to your ears, but it is what it is. Uh with this is going to be fun though. I can't wait to test this out. Bring kind of more better content to y'all. I'm not going to lie, Luke. I've been slacking on my own end. I've been dealing with like stuff on my end. Um but I'm tired of being lazy. I'm tired of you know getting I'm tired of being lazy when it comes to this. So we're gonna come in swinging a little bit. Let's go ahead and break down what happened in Huntsville, Alabama for men's and women's basketball. Ladies first, as always. We are gentlemen after all. Women's they won a very they won a thriller against Jax State, but then they got absolutely killed by eventual conference champion, the Liberty Flames. Luca, I know they won that game against Jack State, but they could have easily lost that game. Like they're going up against an inferior opponent. I mean, albeit the records are almost identical overall, but they're going up against an inferior opponent. In my opinion, they should have won that almost pretty easily. But it's just yeah, they won absolutely. I'm not trying to sound like a Debbie Downer, but it's kind of what we predicted. It was either going to be a blowout loss in the first round, or they get through that first round and then get blown out by Liberty, which is the latter is what happened. There's going to be some question marks going into this offseason, especially with head coach Raven Justice's contract. Uh, this is her last year. I don't know anything. I don't know what's going to happen, but the expectations are going to have to be revisited, especially since you're in such a tougher conference with Liberty, Middle Tennessee, Western Kentucky, New Mexico State as well. New Mexico State was my dark horse to win the Conference USA tournament. But overall, Luke, I'm very curious to see what's going to happen over the next couple of months.
yeah, me too. Just as it has been with the program for a very long time, and it's no secret the past few years has definitely been a struggle. But it always feels like kind of later in the year they start to kind of get it going, and for them to win the game against Jack State, it kind of brought everyone a little bit of hope there. And then that hope was eventually crushed by Liberty, or by Jack State, or yeah, by Liberty. After we beat Jack State. Yeah, it'll be interesting because with the current administration, Bob Williams has never really been a guy to fire coaches. He usually likes to let it play out and see where it goes, and there's definitely been success with that. But then there's also been sometimes that you want some change and you want quicker action. So I think probably they'll look at the contract and look at what they can do and what they've achieved under the Justice era and see what they can do from there. It's like every other sport with how appealing the job actually is, location wise, the recruiting, the community. There's definitely possibilities there being right between the Austin and Dallas and Houston metroplexes. there's definitely the potential. It's just finding the right person to do it, right? And we think we found that with Coach Mudge on the men's side after Hooten. Thankfully, that a good transition there happened, and we're hoping Phil Longo is the guy for football uh, coming up soon. Just because Coach Casey Keeler's now up there in Temple, so we'll see. I think it could go either way. I would probably favor the side of her staying as of right now, just because of kind of the history of Bobby Williams. Uh, but I could also see Sam Houston going in a different direction and wanting a breath of fresh air and someone new, someone probably maybe not related to the program at all. Complete outside hire.
Yeah, it's curious to see if they how long Bobby was gonna give all coaches when it comes to how can they adjust to the new competition. Because again, the Conference USA overall, you're facing much better competition than the Southland, the WAC, and Justice had success in the Southland and the WAC. It's just that with Conference USA, much better competition, you're gonna have to really step up the recruiting, and she really nailed the grabs of Nyla Inman and Deborah Ogayami. I mean, who and Whitney Dunn, I think was good too for a time, especially in the conference tournament. Uh, Still, they were missing many pieces, Luke. They were undersized. I mean, once they went up against a team that had a lot of good players that could definitely match them up really well when it comes to size, height wise. It just seemed impossible to really count the Bearcats to win those kind of games. Yeah, were they scrappy? Absolutely, but there was also things on the offensive end. I mean, Luke, they were so terrible this year shooting from three. There were nights where they shot. There were a couple nights they shot double digit 3-point shots and they didn't make a single one. And that just caused empty possessions. There were nights where they weren't good on the
Yeah.
free throw line. There was nights overall, Luke. Most of the nights they were not good shooting wise. Defensively, though, they were really good, but they weren't capitalizing on those turnovers, points off turnovers. They would turn the ball over, make their opponent turn the ball over 20 times or so, but only get like, let's say, I don't know, about 6 to 10 points off of those turnovers. You need to get more than that in order to succeed, in order to have that style of play work out, and also have that transition offense and defense work as well. It just seemed like it didn't work as much as we hoped it would. As now, I'm in favor on the side as well of keeping her to see what a third year is looking like, a third year of recruiting as well, or a second year technically of recruiting in Conference USA,
Yeah.
just to see what she brings in. But ultimately it's gonna be up to Bobby Williams and the administration whether they just gonna let the contract expire and have her and go with another direction or
Mhm.
keep her. And I don't know at this point what's going to happen.
Yeah, that also opens up a different box of questions right there with how much longer is Bobby Williams going to stay at Sam Houston. I mean, we know he's getting up there in age, and he's definitely hinted at retiring within within a few years. That's no secret. That's been out there and publicized by different places. I think the also tough part about this whole process with Coach Justice is that what you're comparing her to within your program with how great football transitioned, right? It was a rough first year in Conference USA, and then they picked it up like that, like just on a one season, winning New Orleans Bowl as you're wearing right now. Obviously, we were there, covered it. What a
Oh
great
yeah,
weekend that was.
I I I,
Um,
I will say I am teasing to make some kind of I guess cinematic recap, and because we have so many angles of the New Orleans Bowl that we never got to share because I couldn't figure out
mm,
exactly how to convert the files into the correct files because Christian has to use a certain phone, had to use a certain phone to record
hmm
things. So I ain't blaming Christian, no. But I'm blaming me because I couldn't figure it out sooner. But go on. What were you saying?
I mean, with how good football transition and now winning the New Orleans Bowl right there. Basketball, obviously, last year, making a run in the conference tournament and playing such a really good season, really for the entire year. And baseball, I know this year's kind of been a little wonky to start off with, but that past few years has been very good. Women's basketball has kind of been the main sport that's kind of been by itself with It's maybe soccer, maybe with a little bit there, but the core, huge, um, revenue generators, they've kind of been the low dog in that one, and it's a tough spot to be in when you're comparing yourself to Coach Mudge and Coach Keeler, and now Longo. It's tough to be in that conversation, but it'll be a conversation, and I'm sure plenty of meetings will be had over the next few weeks as recruiting will pick right back up here in a matter of no time.
Oh yeah, because especially with March Madness, almost pretty much almost in full swing. I mean, I don't know. Do you I don't know if I ever asked you this question. I think I have, but do you count the first four play-ins as part of the NCAA tournament?
Alan, we talked about this in the radio show back in the
Yeah,
day.
I couldn't remember
Uh,
exactly your question, folks. If you don't, if you're watching on YouTube, when I'm looking up, I'm watching North Carolina, who shouldn't be in the tournament, and San Diego State. It's 79-42 with under 8.5 minutes to go in the second half. So North Carolina looks to be well on their way to meeting Ole Miss in that official first round. But I forgot what your opinion was about the first four. Really?
the first four is, I don't know, because watching today, just a little while ago, St. Francis and Alabama State.
Oh,
What a great game that was!
that was awesome.
A great finish there. The full court pass just fell right to the Alabama State's guard's hands. Whatever his name was, put it up and won the game there with like 1 second to go. But then, the first four, unless my team is playing in it, I don't care. I don't count
I
it.
think that's
I
the
don't count it. It's not a tournament. It's not a tournament game.
I think that's like the typical response for a lot of people, but it is what it is.
But
It's basically extra college basketball. That's one way I like to put it.
the important question is, Colin. But I don't. People would say, I know you don't care, or you don't classify it as a tournament game, but do you still watch it? And that's 100% yes. Unless I'm recording with Colin Neal, then I'm not. But
Oh yeah, you could be watching. I really don't care.
no, the game is over, Colin. UNC is probably going to make a run when they are 1-12, I think 12 against quad one teams, and now they're going to make a run to the Sweet 16 and
Jeez.
bust everyone's brackets.
Yeah, that's probably how it's gonna go. Let's switch. Let's switch up a little bit. Let's go to men's basketball. We're kind of on that topic a little bit. They had their conference tournament run in very swiftly by UTEP. They were up quite a bit at the beginning. At the beginning, they seemed like the Bearcats couldn't miss for at least the first few minutes of that game. But then all of a sudden, the script is flipped it completely
Yeah.
to UTEP's way. They just took control. Bearcats, I think they adjusted well later on in the game to try to go like shots on the outside weren't working, so they tried to drive inside to draw fouls, get UTEP in tough positions, but it wasn't enough. I told you literally before the tournament started that Joe Golding scares the living hell out of me, and because of his experience, and he showed why. Now, honestly, I think I don't know. I don't remember if UTEP was favored to go in this game. I mean, they had to be.
They were.
They were okay.
Yeah.
Then point stands now. I mean, people that thought that the Bearcats were going to make a deep run in this conference tournament, they kind of got a little bit high on the last few wins of the season, in my opinion. The depth wasn't there, Luke. Yeah, you had the experience, but the depth wasn't there, and depth's how you win in March because you just can't expect all five of your starting guys to go off every night like they did against UTEP and New Mexico State to end the season. I just couldn't see it happening. I wish we could have won. I wish we could have won that game, but it is what it is. We move on the next year in the offseason, and hopefully Mudge got something cooking in the recruiting side of things because they're in threat of losing Lamar Wilkerson and Khalifa Sacco.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a tough shooting night for sure. It started off so well. Getting out to a sizable lead there, but UTEP. I mean, they really did put the clamps on us. Wilkerson 1 for 8 from deep, 6 for 16 from the field. He had 22 points. He led the team scoring once again, and Sacco had a pretty good game too. But in the end, UTEP's depth was just too much to overcome. I think Coach Mudge has been coaching his butt off the entire year. He's just been fighting an uphill battle that he just couldn't overcome, this year. And I think the Conference USA was definitely a very, very good tournament, though. Liberty played very well and really showed why they were the number one seed, and they quickly dominated. Fairly. I think it came pretty easily to them.
They
A
just
few a
couldn't
few
miss that.
times there got a little shaky, but
They couldn't miss in that final game, dude. They just
no,
could not
no, it was.
miss.
What were they shooting, like 60 something percent from
Oh,
from three? And I mean,
yeah.
they were just jacking it up, and it was going in. It was it was just the right team. The right team got hot at the right time, and they'd been winning all year, and they continued it in the postseason, right? And so Liberty won both, right, with men's and women's.
Yes, they did.
So
Yes, they
congrats
did.
to them. But um,
Yeah, go rep Conference
you know,
USA for us.
yeah. And speaking of that, they're playing Oregon in the tournament. Obviously, Dana Altman's one of the great tournament coaches. Um, in recent history. You think Liberty has a chance against Oregon, or what do you think, Colin?
Maybe men's basketball can avenge football for what Oregon football did to Liberty football a year ago. So that would be kind of
Fiesta Bowl.
that would be a very interesting storyline. But I don't know. It's interesting because Liberty is playing hot right now. They were just on fire. And funny story, Luke. I was actually working at Sports Radio 610. I was producing that Conference USA championship game for Westwood One, and I was the bad thing is, Luke, it sucked because that game was delayed for like an hour because TV time moved it up, and there was a damn leak in the roof because of those bad storms that were sweeping across the eastern United States during that time. And now I lost Luke. Don't know why I lost his camera. There he is.
I had to
Boom.
sneeze. I had to sneeze. I had to sneeze. I didn't want to see the thousands of people watching see me sneeze like a fool.
And the millions
And millions.
of Sam Houston Sports Talk fans tuning in right here. Didn't Luke? You got to get the people what they want. They got to get see a sneeze. But all right. Anyway,
Speaking of the millions and millions, a little off topic, Colin. What do you think about John Cena going heel again?
I love it. It's awesome. I'm not caught up. I got to watch the recorded. I got to watch it on Netflix. I still have to catch up on SmackDown on Friday night. I'm starting to watch wrestling again, and that was kind of before the Cena went heel. But I'm glad to start. I'm starting to watch wrestling a little bit. But I was hoping he'd come out with the Doctor Thugonomics theme music.
I think that's coming for one of the pay-per-views.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not a huge wrestling guy really at all, but I do like the story. I like all the effort they put in behind it. I like that part.
Yeah. Well,
It's
if
kind of
there,
gimmicky though.
if there's someone that is going to be have to make a lot of effort though this offseason, is Coach Mudge with just.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're being completely honest, Luke, Lamar Wilkerson's most likely leaving. Like if he's going to get paid. And now listen, this is something I've heard. He could have left for a lot of money last year. He could have.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I got told that he chose to stay in Huntsville. So there's maybe a slight chance that he does stay because he likes it here. Maybe he just likes the fact that he's the guy. I mean, Luke, he's literally the guy here. If he stays one more year, he's breaking every single scoring record ever. But I just don't know. I don't know if I see him staying, Luke. I just wouldn't. I'm not saying it in vain or anything, because I just don't blame somebody for making a decision that can give them some life-changing money.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd love him to stay, but I wonder what kind of schools are going to be looking at Lamar Wilkerson. I mean, we see, do you think he could go to a Big 12, an SEC, and start? We all thought David Barnes would be able to do that and play valuable minutes, and he does play good minutes. I mean, he played quite a bit in the SEC tournament for Ole Miss, but I would have thought he would have played more based on kind of what he was able to do at Sam Houston. I wonder what the market is for Lamar Wilkerson. He's definitely going to be one of the more talked about mid-major guys for sure. I don't know, the lack of tournament success. I think that might be the biggest factor in taking him away, and him going somewhere else. But it also could you could also see a scenario there where he says, "Okay, Coach Mudge, let's bring in some guys that it's like the pros in free agency. It's like, hey, bring in some guys that I like and I know I'll be able to work with, and I'll stay. It feels like it could be one of those scenarios, but
That's tough though. That's tough though,
you
man.
know, if a couple stacks comes knocking on the door, you're gonna go and take it. I mean, if I was Lamar Wilkerson, I probably would too, right?
It's just crazy though that he could have left though. He was. I mean, he was getting offered. I heard he
Well,
was getting offered money, It- but he
well,
chose to stay anyway. I don't know if I don't know if it was just a long plan. Like, hey, let me build my stock. I mean, well, actually, you know what? I was gonna say build my stock up for this year, for next year, because that was before the JUCO ruling even happened with Diego Pavia, and that's exactly why Lamar Wilkerson, Khalifa Sacco, and Josiah Hammonds are getting an extra year, and it's up to them if they want to take it, of course. But I don't know. It's I would again,
rank the three on most likely to stay to least likely.
for me personally, Hammonds, Sacco, Wilkerson. Hammonds most likely to
Yeah,
stay.
yeah. I
I think
yeah, you had that perfect.
I predict Sacco to leave. Hammonds could leave. As much as I do would love to have his shooting stroke back in the back on the team. I don't know why I'm a big fan of his shooting motion.
Oh no, Colin, that thing it's ugly, dude.
It's ugly, but it works. That's the thing.
0 for 2 in the against UTEP.
Yeah, that's a good point. But we'll keep
Good
track.
defender. Good defender though.
Good defender. Yeah, absolutely. It helps when you have a nice wingspan too, for a guard like that. But
It's it just wasn't in the cards for this year, man. It just wasn't. We were hoping it would be, coming into the year, but you lose two key starters. I mean, at the first few games, it was just after that it was destined to not go as well as we hoped for.
I mean, you lost Damon Nicholas Jr. at the beginning, before the year even started. You decided redshirt C.J. Beaumont because you like his potential, and I like his potential too. I think that was the right move. I don't think they should regret redshirting C.J. Beaumont. Would he be a big piece this year? Absolutely, but I see a lot of potential in him personally. I as a freak athlete, only started playing basketball when he was 16 years old, organized wise rather, and there's nothing you could do but happen with Keegan Scroggins and Dorian Finster. I mean, it's I'm not going to get into it, but it was overall just a tough situation for Mudge and the coaching staff to really work around. I mean, you just lost two key bench pieces right there that could have been eating up minutes for the starting five. And then but then you have to end up relying on. I mean, I think Brennan Burns ended up doing just fine. Not great, but he did just okay to fill his role. He still needed some like he still needed to, I don't know, just learn to be pass first guard more often than not. I think Jackson Ford, Check and Jai have potential. I think they're going to be good pieces for next year. I mean, heck, you even had Check and Jai out for half the season because he broke his
Yeah.
hand, and so you didn't have an extra big for Sacco or for Hoofner. So, but yeah, we'll keep everyone updated on as the offseason recruiting goes. It's starting to ramp up. I've seen that Sam Houston, according to transfer portal or the portal report and some other transfer portal media accounts that follow this stuff a lot more closely than a lot of people do. Sam Houston has been having conversations with players, so they've already pretty much hit like the recruiting side aspects as we speak.
On it, if you could give me a snag one type player that you need to have right now. In previous years, it had always felt like it was the bigs. It was always we need a true center. Um, I think if Sacco, if you know, if we have, if he stays, and Jai stays, right? Which I think actually both will.
And Jai will definitely stay. I just don't know about Sako.
Yeah, I think Saka will stay. Well, what's that type player that you want? Do you really? Is it that pure point guard? You think that?
I want another Kawhi Grant. Is that too much to ask?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
Okay, let me be a little less greedy, Luke. I just want to I want a pure point guard. Because
we
that's how you win tournaments, Luke. We were literally talking about this before we went on air. Is that
Sam
you need
Houston. Sam
guards?
Houston hit the jackpot with it with what 3 transfers in a row with or 4 really with Lamar Wilkerson, Barnes,
Boykin
Savion Flagg, and Quay Grant.
and Marcus Boykin.
Okay.
What?
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. Boykin's been good, but I mean,
Come on,
you can,
man! Don't do this to me.
Quay Grant and Savion Flagg, those guys were awesome.
Yeah. Imagine if the same you said Quay Grant and Savion Flag on the same team. Oh my
Imagine if
god.
they were on the team last year.
Oh,
I know. I mean, it was just like the hit rate was good there, but they're gonna have to dip back into the portal once again. But
yeah. Well, we'll see
you
what
know, hey,
happens.
we have faith in Coach Mudge.
Yeah. I absolutely do. Despite this year, I know some people were starting to question him a little bit, and that was mainly just people that didn't know about anything what was going on. But Bobby Williams made the right choice in my opinion to have Mudge take over in
Stuck in the
Hoopeston.
Mudge.
Yeah, stuck in the Mudge Madness, baby, Mudge Madness. Hey,
Mudge madness.
so Bearcat baseball coming out with the victory against the Houston Cougars. It just went final about a few minutes ago. You probably saw me fist bumping there, Luke, because I saw the final 5-4 over the Cougars. They also won the halted game that was a week ago. They were down 9-5 heading into that in that resumed of the halted game, and they scored 6 straight runs and they won it in that one. They won it 11-9. Just the pitching was absolutely magnificent today. The pitching is starting to improve. I mean, it's Houston. It's a quote unquote weak Power 5 team, but it's still Big 12. Luke, they have some great players on that team. They're much better this year than they have been over the past few years, especially that offense. That offense is pretty good. They're gonna make some noise in the Big 12 tournament. But that's now. I mean, if you want to kind of really put in a weight, that's three straight wins. But I can't really count the halted game victory for today because that game was technically started a while ago. I got told that for history's sakes, it's not going to be looked at as 3 straight wins in the row. It's going to be looked at as back to back. But nonetheless, back to back wins after they salvaged the game, a game against Abilene Christian after they lost the Friday and Saturday game. Luke, I was telling you about this earlier. I think baseball is starting to kind of get up on the up and up. I'm not saying that they're going to go crazy. I'm not saying that they're going to go off and win 10 games in a row. But maybe they can at least be scrappy because they were scrappy against Oklahoma. They were scrappy against LSU. And I think that's just the kind of team that they are going to be this year. And I think they finally started not being what they aren't. They started being, hey, we don't have the power this year outside of Autry and a couple of other guys. But we have some fast guys and guys that can battle in counts. And it's starting to show, Luke. And I'm pretty interested to see what happens when conference play starts this weekend when Louisiana Tech comes to town.
Yeah, obviously, has definitely turned it around a little bit there. Pitching has definitely, been better. It's still a little streaky at times, and the bigger
Absolutely.
innings still are happening.
Yep.
But I think the big thing you kind of mentioned it. So they're starting to figure it out. You have to give a lot of credit to the players, but you also have to give a lot of credit to the coaching staff, Coach Jay Sirianni, the entire crew back there working hard, and they knew coming into the year, and we talked about it with Austin. You talked about it, about the type of year it was going to be. It was always going to be kind of a 50-50. You don't really know what you're going to get. I mean, you're replacing so many different starters. You're replacing so much of the rotation. I mean, it's just a lot of I don't know what's going to happen. And we've definitely seen the improvement. I mean, that series with Oklahoma, I think that really gave life to this team. Seeing us being able to compete with the top program that like Oklahoma it is, and now getting a couple wins there against Houston, you scrapped one out against Abilene. It's definitely taking shape here a little bit now towards conference seeding starting now, but
Yeah.
it'll be tough with La Tech. I mean, that's a really good team starting out, but you get them at home, so hopefully you'll be able to to close out a few there. But I think you're right. I think it's definitely starting to turn around. Colin, in your opinion, what do you think is what's the biggest change that you've seen from the beginning of the year to now?
I think offensively they stopped being something that they weren't. Um, and trust me, they have a really great hitting coach. One of the most underrated hitting coaches in the mid major level in Shaden Wed. He's absolutely he's a guru when it comes to this sort of thing. But I think something it's like they weren't being competitive in counts as much. They weren't being pesky. It felt like they were trying to play hero or try to go for the big swing. And right now, there's only one guy I'm comfortable with. All right, go ahead and try to go for the big swing, I guess. But please be a bit more patient, and that's Hunter Autry. But
Mm-hmm.
now you're seeing this team absolutely battle in counts, like just battle over and over again. And some of these young guys are stepping up too. Parker Blackman has been absolutely, honestly, amazing for a freshman, thrust into this role that he's in. One guy that if you remember from our conversation with Austin Farmer, Sam Lee, like he had a rough beginning of the year, Luke, like
Mm-hmm.
unbelievably rough. But I still have faith in him, and he rattled off a couple of hits today across both games. Had a big walk to get ahead in the previous game. I believe that ended up being the game winner. Or no. It was early. It was early. It was early in this game. They had the bases loaded, 2 out, and he worked a 4-pitch walk to have the Bearcats strike first. So the improvement is getting there. Interestingly enough, Lee's playing in center. Blackman's playing in right. Christensen did not play today. He did not even play earlier today either. So I wonder what's up with that because he's a guy that's been hitting 300. Would love to have his bat back in the lineup. But I think though, Luke, the pitching still needs to get figured out. And you were right on when you said it. Like it's in spells a little bit, and right now it's in a good spell. But I will say I think Jay has figured out his starting rotation for the weekend. But I'll get to a little bit more than that later. Um, but Luke, I think things are going to start turning around a little bit. I'm not trying to say that they're going to go all crazy and win the conference tournament or whatever, but I think they'll be just fine. I think this year is just what you got year. I think I think these pitchers are battling for. I think these pitchers are trying to do their thing, and I think Jay's looking to see who he can keep next year for the pen itself next year, and try to recruit and try to recruit better in the portal when it comes to pitching because I mean it's kind of obvious, Luke. Like the pitching let the offense down more times than the offense let down the pitching. But there's
Yeah.
some bright spots there, and I'll break it down more in a little bit, but I'll let you talk because I'm going on a tangent because I believe in this. I'm a staunch Sirianni defender, so I think this was a tough job to begin with. So
It is, and I mean, you just look at the roster, Colin. There are so many freshmen and sophomores up and down the entire lineup. I mean,
26
it's
newcomers, 26.
you can't expect a team to be clicking and firing on all cylinders, in their first month when you're replacing so much with a lot of question marks. I mean, you only see these guys. I mean, you see these guys in practice all the time, and you see them in inter squad scrimmages. But it's really another thing when you're playing against another school, another team for the first time in a series, right? You just don't know what you're going to get. And Colin, you're the baseball guy. You live baseball. You love baseball. It's not my thing. Um,
At least you're honest about it, unlike a lot of people that try to talk baseball.
no, no, yeah, I know my place. It's not baseball. Um, Baseball games are fun to go to. I love the baseball games to go to. But the two guys that been watching has been Blake Brown and obviously Autry. Blake Brown obviously was a guy last year that definitely had some highlights, but kind of got wasn't necessarily in the everyday lineup last year towards the middle to the end. And he's had a really good start to the season. And Hunter Autry has been doing what he did last year. He's doing it this year. Hitting in that hole, in the 3 or 4 hole, wherever he's been, and just firing away and racking up doubles, racking up RBIs. That offense, like you said, it's really been just around him. If we could just get another more sort of consistent option down later, in the lineup down towards 7 through 9, now you could really be talking about something there. But it all comes down to pitching, that, and
Yeah.
we'll just see where it goes. I mean, it's not like no one was expecting this team to be DBU, right? I mean, it just wasn't that type of year. No, I think
DBU's kind of in that position too for next year. They could be in trouble because they have so
yeah.
many seniors on their squad.
Well, and I was going to say, and you put a year, or maybe next year, maybe the year after, you could be looking at a season where Sam Houston has just a bunch of juniors and seniors and transfers on this team that's just here, and it's ready and it's deep and it's ready for a big time run there and to try to get to the regionals and maybe supers and for lucky Omaha, right? But
I
that's
would
years
go absolutely crazy, Luke, if we make it to Omaha. I'm just telling you.
that's years in advance.
I'm booking the trip to Omaha,
Yeah.
Nebraska, baby.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going up there. I don't care how much it costs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'd get there. We'd get there, Colin. But okay, here you go, Colin. What would you rather have happen?
We already had this conversation a year ago too, but go ahead.
Sam Houston basketball, it gets to the Final Four. Baseball goes to Omaha, or football
Oh
goes to the
man.
playoff.
Oh man. Yeah, you son of a gun, dude. You son of a gun. That's tough. I might have to put that as a poll in the morning when the episode comes out to see what the people would want.
Dude,
That's tough.
because the good thing about I think the Final Four for me, that would be the one I'd want, because I think that's the most amount of eyes. But like Omaha is something different. I mean, and inside baseball people like yourself and a lot of like just general public people, they love Omaha. Like my parents, they live and die college baseball, the tournaments, all the regionals. They love that. For me, it's just not my thing, but it's huge. And the college football playoff would be probably a disaster, but it'd be awesome.
I mean, it's a lot of money that would go to us. That's for sure.
It would be.
Yeah, it would.
Conference USA would be loving us.
I don't know. How about you? How about let's let the people decide. Would you want football to make the CFP? Would you want men's basketball to make the Final Four, or would you want baseball to go to Omaha? That's an interesting one. I don't know. I have to get back with you on that. That's something I have to really think about. So, but to kind of end things off with baseball, I think they got the rotation figured out. That's kind of from my point of view. I think you get Ryan Peterson on Friday. Okay. Saturday, you have Noah Kendrick. And then on Sunday, you have Felix Schled. Because Noah Kendrick pitched absolutely amazing over the weekend against Abilene Christian. And Felix Schled pitched really well as well on Sunday. And to help to keep Abilene Christian where they were at for the Bearcat offense to win. So that's kind of how I'm going to end off when it comes to baseball. But just wait and see. People, don't. I saw a stupid comment that said that a Rice reset should happen. I mean, okay, maybe that's not stupid, but I see why. I see why people are frustrated, Luke, because baseball has won quite a lot over the last decade or so. But hey, this isn't the WAC. This isn't the Southland. Welcome to Conference USA Baseball, where you have Western Kentucky, who has the second best team ERA in the country right now. The Hilltoppers, second best team ERA in the country. And you also have DBU, Louisiana Tech, Liberty, and then there's us. There's a lot more competition this go around. But hey, I love it. You know why? Because it has more eyes on Sam Houston. And also, there's a chance that you can make the NCAA regionals without winning the conference tournament.
Yeah.
At large bid, folks.
And that's the big thing. I mean, it's just like comparing, other teams to other conferences. when baseball was in the Southland, right, and it was like, okay, it's McNeese and Sam Houston, and
Maybe
every
Nichols, maybe
every so often, but it would be largely between those two teams.
Abilene Christian as well.
Uh, yeah, true ACU, but you also see the comments, and it's like Martha Johnny, the comparisons, and we talked about this a little bit earlier with
I
Walker.
don't think anybody's comparing him. I think it's just people are kind of sad
Yeah,
that
it's like,
this isn't.
look what we had.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
And I mean, it's so unfair. It's so unfair to the guy because you can't compare. I mean, to I guess what was he drafted, Colin? First round. What was he drafted?
Walker Yannick, 24th overall pick to
Right.
the Houston Astros.
And then like you had Cowser a few years ago and Redfield. I mean, you just had so many dudes. I mean,
Ryan
Wisnowski. I mean,
O'Hearn.
it's just. I mean, there's just so many guys that have been going through this program now, and it's like it's so unfair to the guys now. I mean,
It is.
just give them some time, man.
It is. That's all. That's all I'm literally asking. Is like, don't compare what we had last year and the year before. We have guys right now that can develop really well. If they develop really well, Luke, 2026, 2027 are going to be dangerous years to face the Bearcats, and I'm putting my foot down on that. And that's where I'm going to end it for baseball for now.
I love that, Colin. I love that. Standing on business.
Yeah, I will say, softball has been. I mean, albeit they're 3-3 when it comes to conference play so far, but they stood on business on us this past Sunday. They, Luke, were down by, I believe it was 5 runs in the 6th inning against Middle Tennessee, and they rattled off 7 or 8. I can't remember, but they had a big comeback win over there in Murfreesboro on the road to at least salvage a game against the Blue Raiders. We didn't talk about them last week either. We didn't have a pod last week, but that they took that series against Western Kentucky. That's a big series to take right there, Luke. Get off on a strong foot right now. I know the record could be much better than I'm sure they want that record to be much better than they want it to be. I imagine that they did not want to drop that series against Middle Tennessee, Luke, but to take that series against Western Kentucky at the beginning is huge, and getting some more offense outside of Bella Perez, Brody Quinlan, getting some offense out of Jenny Robeson, and honestly, someone huge that has to step up is Hebel, in my opinion. She's gonna have to. Yeah. She has to continue to step up and keep improving every day. But that pitching has also been really strong for us. Kendall Daniel was through that complete game on that Sunday against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Softball's looking pretty good this year, Luke, and I don't think all softball teams make the conference tournament this year like last year, but they're putting themselves in a position where they can make it to the Conference USA tournament for the first time if that's the case. I wouldn't be surprised if they are again like baseball, a scrappy team where they're going to make any team they face their lives a living hell, and that's and I would want that. I want a good mix of power, good mix of small ball, and also some good pitching. And then the pitching staff, honestly, Luke looks really good this year. If everything is on at the right time, watch out.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you mentioned some of the names, Hebel, Robeson. I think Morgan Holiday has stepped up here lately.
Yep.
In the Middle Tennessee series and in the West Kentucky, Brody Quinlan. I mean, there's a lot of like stars that can align with the talent of this squad. And the pitching, it's always felt like we've never had the two come together at the right time. And it feels like this could be the squad that if things start to get rolling and just give the pitchers a little support, man, I mean, you could be looking at, 1 through 6 or 7. It's like, okay, yeah, you have some really dangerous players right there and some really dangerous hitters. Yeah, and you talked about that 6th inning against Middle Tennessee. I mean, it was a disastrous series. Going into that 6th inning, and all of a sudden, you squeak out and you steal a win, right? In golf, people talk about, oh, you're able to steal a stroke, right? You steal a stroke here or there. In softball, they were able to steal a win by just racking up, one giant.
It's that time of year. The Masters are close.
I know the players just happening. And Rory McIlroy, that chump, won. No one likes Rory. Anyways, no, it really does feel like this team. It it's aligning, right? And
Yeah,
you're
of
able to
course.
squeak out the one there against Middle Tennessee. You win Houston against HCU, and now you're hoping, coming into, I guess it will be Wednesday, so tomorrow as we're recording this, it'll be against or against in Nacogdoches. I'm sorry, against Stephen F. Austin.
Who?
Yeah, true. The Lady Jacks. Who is that, huh? Who
What?
is that?
What?
What?
Yeah, I just
Anyways,
that could be that could be a bit of a revenge game out there, Luke, because Stephen F. Austin took the win against Sam Houston in Huntsville a few weeks ago. So hopefully a little bit of a revenge game right there for the Bearcats. I will say though, Garrett Volish, I think we kind of already hit on this, but I'll say it again. Garrett Volish really hit on the hiring of Lexi Smith as a pitching coach. It's really nice that the Bearcats have a pitching coach on this staff, Luke, because pitching was a struggle over the last few years. I mean, you had sparks here and there, but nothing consistent. Is it where it needs to be? Nah, I mean, it could be better, of course. I mean, anything could be better if you really think about it. I mean, not everything's gonna be perfect, but the hiring of Lexi Smith has really paid off, in my opinion. And I
yeah.
talked to Volish a little bit about it. He said that he wish he would have gone after her sooner. But hey, like they always say, better late than never.
I'm totally with you there. It's it also might have been one of those things that it just wasn't in the budget. And now
Yeah, that's a good
a
point.
couple years in Conference USA, you get a little more money, and a position opens up, right? And it's a weight lifted off his shoulders, and it's just something that he doesn't have to think about as much, right? It's why you have two people working somewhere, right? I mean, it's just a coaching staff. You're able to have a full coaching staff that helps out the team. Crazy how that works, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. I don't know. It just feels like in previous years, Colin, it's like, oh yeah, softball, yeah, not going to be great. This year it's definitely catching the eyes of people, and it's saying, okay, like we got something here. Let's take off and let's build from this.
Yeah, I I think that they're going to be just fine this year. I think they might. I think they can win a game. I think they can win a few games in the conference tournament later on
Oh yeah,
in the spring. It's just that the main key is the offense going to be. I'm not too worried about the pitching. What's really killed Sam Houston when they get into the conference tournament, the last few times I've seen them when it comes to them getting the tournament, is that the offense just becomes absolutely non-existent. And that's what I'm worried about as the season goes on. Can this offense stay consistent? Can this offense stay consistent at least getting runs across the plate, not getting shut out, not just having one or two runs in this highly offensive era when it comes to Diamond Sports as a whole? You need to find a way to keep up. I think the pitching is going to hold up well. It's going to come down to, can this offense not only just be consistent when it comes to getting runs across the plate, but also it gets spread out, because they had this issue early in the year where it was just Belo Perez and Brody Quinlan bringing most of the runs in, and now it's getting and the wealth is now getting spread around. Everyone's doing their part, and if that can keep up, Luke, where it can be any other player that can step up in that lineup, it'll ease the weight off of everybody else, and once that happens with the offense, it'll ease the weight off of the pitchers. It's only a matter of time, though, when that clicks, though.
yeah, and you just hope it happens at the right time, right? You hope it doesn't happen, too early. You see teams all the time. They click and they're on a roll early, and then all of a sudden, coming down the stretch late and going into conference tournaments, they kind of fall down, and they just can't get it back. You're just hoping they're building to that. I do have, well, no, it's not a concern. No, it's just I wonder if the experience, going into that conference championship. I mean, we're looking so far ahead with the conference tournaments, but like, how much does experience really come into that type of environment? I mean, what do you think, Colin? You think it's overvalued? Is it underrated? I mean,
Experience, I think, is very important. I think it's very important. Like we talk about all the time. Like college basketball, for instance, when it comes to comes to March Madness, Luke.
Yeah, but
I know it's a
it's a
different
completely
sport.
different
I
sport.
know it's a different sport, but it's kind of like the same aspect when it comes to like tournament winning the big games. At the end of the day, Luke, which of the two teams, usually comes out on top? The experienced or the least little to non-experienced teams?
Right. But I mean, we've also seen some Sam Houston teams, in baseball that have crushed and mashed teams, and then they get to the tournament and they just fall apart. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I'm hoping that they just take it with a grain of salt and they say, we don't need experience. We can just mash, hopefully. I mean, hopefully that's where it gets to, but
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
I don't know. So I don't want to put too much on.
Stocks are going up though.
Yeah, the
Stocks are going up for softball.
stock is going up for softball. I am investing in it, but I'm still waiting and seeing. I at least I'm buying it. I don't want to buy it at the high. Is what I'm saying. I don't want it to drop I don't want it to drop sharply. I want it to keep going up, baby. Keep investing, baby. And hey, if you can catch softball, go out there. Students, it's free. Baseball, it's free as well. Heck, any Sam Houston sporting event that's going on, students, it is free to go into these games. Go out there and support your Bearcats. They would very much appreciate it, and it's fun. Who the hell wants to do homework all the time?
Colin, I don't do homework anymore. I graduated, dude.
Yeah, we both graduated. We don't have to worry about that crap no more.
That's right.
But hey, before we end this episode off, I want to give some shout outs. Hunter Autry and Addison Smith, both heroes of the ball games today. Hunter Autry hit the walk-off single to end that halted game 12-11. And Addison Smith hit the go-ahead shot in the 12th inning to get the Bearcats victory. So shout out to those two. Let's just say they're honorary players of the pod. Players of the pod. That's kind of this thing I made up, but whatever.
Players of the pod.
Players of the pod.
I like that. I like that, Colin. I like that. Oh, I also saw pro day for Sam Houston football.
Yeah, the Texans were interested in Ife Ade.
Yeah, it's a lot of conversations. I think he ran a 4.3. I think it was a 4.34.
So
4.38.
I think it was a 4.28 unofficial, 4.38 official.
Yeah, 4.38.
I personally I don't personally really put too much stock in 40-yard dashes anymore like I used to.
No, do you think people train for that? I mean, you think people? I mean, they have figured out how to run a great 40 without being really that fast, or just being able to inflate it, a little bit where they're. I mean, obviously they're quick. Obviously, these guys can absolutely, run. But you think there's an art to the 40?
I don't know. I don't know really much.
I think so.
Building up. I think Ife's just a natural athlete. He's just very fast, bro. Just makes you wonder why we didn't use him quite a lot when it comes to that aspect this past season. But that's past season. We won the New Orleans Bowl, so I don't really care anymore about that.
4.28 unofficial, 4.35.
4.35 official. Okay, and the Texans were interested, so that's going to be interesting. Maybe they grab him as an undrafted free agent. That would be pretty cool, though. I will say that would be pretty cool. But yeah. I don't really have any more to discuss when it comes to the Bearcats, Luke. I mean, we kind of just really covered everything that has happened over the past week and a half. I am interested to see how baseball keeps going, softball as well, what basketball does, both men's and women's in the recruiting cycles, because that's going to start picking up soon. March Madness is here, folks. Masters are going to be here soon as well. Major League Baseball is going to start. Walker Yannick, he's going to start his journey to the show, or kind of continue it, rather, I should say. And some other guys as well, Bearcats, that are in the minors that are trying to get to the show. So lots of exciting stuff to look forward to. And it looks like you got something else to say before we head out.
Who is the next Bearcat looking to break into the majors coming up? Colin, do you know?
No, I don't. I can't really give you a good answer either. I mean, Redfield, Justin Wischkowski, maybe Michael Watson if he continues to do well for the Cardinals organization. Yannick maybe next year, I will say. Maybe he progresses well enough to become a September call-up. But as of now, I can't give you a good prediction at this time. Maybe I don't know if Nick Mikolajczyk has made his pro debut. No, actually, I think he had. I think he did last year, if I remember correctly. So
I will say this, Colin. Your preseason pick to win at Omaha. Your baseball prediction, Texas A&M not off to a great start. I have to stunt on you for that. Now
yeah,
my Florida pick
I
is
don't.
not doing great
Nah,
either.
I
They're
don't.
doing okay, but
I ain't picking those damn Aggies ever again. Screw them. I don't really care about them anymore.
you just can't do it.
All I give a damn about is the Bearcats. Don't
The
get no,
Bearcats.
don't care about
Blitz,
nothing but
Bearcats, Blitz.
don't care nothing about the Bearcats.
Blitz, Cats, Blitz.
Blitz. All right, that'll do it for us here on CBS Sports Talk. Keep an eye on some other content we could pour out. Hopefully my schedule finally will start dying down a little bit. It had some life changes, but hopefully it starts chilling out. And I got this new equipment that I can work with. I'm glad to finally bring this out to y'all. It's gonna be fun. Baseball. Like I said, like we said, they're gonna come back to the Dawn. They have a 3-game series against Louisiana Tech. I forgot what softball has going on. I believe they are on the road. I had the schedule pulled up. Let me see schedule for softball. I'm trying to navigate this new app. I always say the new app is pretty cool, Luke. I think it's a lot more organized and a lot better than the previous version of it, I will say. Yes, like you said, Stephen F. Austin on Wednesday, and then they have they're at home actually. 3-game series against the Kennesaw State Owls, a Conference USA newcomer. Swifty nights on Friday, alumni games on Saturday. So keep that in
Colin,
mind.
I'll see you on Swifty night.
Okay. You took a little too far there. I'm ending it right now.
What's your favorite Taylor Swift song? Give me one.
So you can't sing it because YouTube will demonetize your ass and put a copyright strike on your channel.
Yes, because we're making thousands and thousands of dollars doing this.
Yeah, because we got the millions and millions of fans tuning in right here, right now, worldwide. We're literally worldwide, Luke. I don't know if a lot of people know that.
No, Mr. Worldwide will actually be traveling out to Vegas pretty soon. And then after that, back out to Japan, I think.
So
Or no, maybe not Japan, somewhere else.
Okay, so if he listens, if he watches the pod when he's in Japan, we're technically worldwide.
We are.
But anyway, that was Luke Scott. I am Colin Neal saying so long for now. And as always, eat 'em up, cats. And hey, be sure you subscribe today if you haven't already. We're at 228 subs. Let's try to get to 300. Our next goal is 300, or actually, 300. Screw it. I was going to say 250 to be a bit more modest because that's a quarter of the way to 1,000 subscribers. But let's hit 300, baby. Let's get 300 subscribers. Share the channel. For fellow Bearcats that don't know about this podcast, we're gonna pour out some content. I'm going full send, baby. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go for the rest of this athletic year, heading into football season in the fall. But as always, guys, eat 'em up, cats, and have a great rest of your day.
Eat 'em up, cats.